This was supposed to be a normal afternoon in Clovis, New Mexico. But what police found inside one home shocked even veteran investigators. Baby boy, cold to the touch, bleeding from the face. Cut to blurred police bodycam footage and sirens. This wasn't a tragic accident. This was the start of one of the most disturbing cases the town had ever seen. Please subscribe for more true crime stories. The call came in just after 2 p.m. Dispatchers alerted every available unit. Police cars tore through Clovis streets, lights flashing, sirens screaming. When officers stepped into the house, they froze. The baby was lying on the couch, motionless. His skin had turned a chilling shade of blue. Blood streaked down his tiny neck, staining the blanket beneath him. His lips were pale, his body cold to the touch. One officer immediately started CPR, counting compressions out loud. Another radioed for paramedics to hurry. The room was tense and silent except for the sound of desperate breaths being forced into the baby's lungs. Paramedics arrived within minutes, grabbed the child and sprinted back to the ambulance. They raced toward the hospital with a police escort clearing the road. But even as first responders worked frantically, something about the scene felt off. The smell of animal waste filled the air. The house was in chaos, and the timeline Jared gave them didn't match what they were seeing. 35-year-old Jared White told police he had placed his son in a baby bouncer on the bed. He said he only stepped out for a moment to let the dog out. When he came back, he claimed the bouncer had flipped over and the baby wasn't breathing. But officers immediately felt something was off. The bouncer was upright, not tipped. The bed looked undisturbed. And the house itself was in shocking condition. Dirty floors, trash everywhere, animal feces scattered across the carpet. As officers moved through the home, they found another baby in the back room. Her diaper was so full it had leaked onto the sheets. The entire house smelled of neglect. Officers began treating the scene like a potential crime scene. During their search, they found multiple pipes and drug paraphernalia scattered in plain view. Neighbors later told police they had seen fights and loud arguments in the home before. Then came the detail that turned this from suspicious to horrifying. The baby was already in full rigor mortis when paramedics arrived. His tiny muscles stiff, his body locked. Rigor mortis takes 6 to 8 hours to set in, which meant the baby had been dead for hours before Jared ever called 911. When investigators confronted Jared with this, they didn't mince words. "Your child was not alive when you checked on him this morning," one officer said flatly. Jared shook his head, insisting he thought his son was sleeping. But detectives pressed harder. The timeline didn't make sense. Every time they asked the same question, his story shifted. At first, Jared swore he had fed the baby that morning. Then he admitted he couldn't remember. Then he backtracked again, claiming he had lined up the formula but hadn't fed him yet. As the questions kept coming, Jared grew agitated, his voice rising. "I swear to God, if I'd seen anything wrong with my son, I would have called sooner," he said. Detectives didn't buy it. They told him the science didn't lie. The baby had been dead long before the call. Jared finally snapped and demanded a lie detector test. When detectives kept pressing, he asked for a lawyer, ending the interview. By that point, police were convinced something far darker had happened in that bedroom than Jared was willing to admit. Detective leans forward. "Jared, the timeline doesn't add up. Your son was dead for hours before you called us." Jared shakes his head. No, he was fine. I thought he was asleep." Detective's tone sharpens. "You said you fed him this morning. Did you?" "Yes, I think I did." "You think?" I don't remember. I was going to make the bottle. I had the formula ready." The detective slides a photo across the table. "This is what we found. His body was cold. His muscles were stiff. That doesn't happen in an hour." Jared stares at the table, voice cracking. "I swear to God I didn't know. If I knew, I would have called." "Detective, you're lying. You know what happened." Jared's breathing quickens. He runs his hands through his hair. "Give me a polygraph right now. I'll take it. I didn't hurt my son." The detective doesn't blink. "We don't need a polygraph to see what happened. The evidence is clear." Jared slams his fist on the table. "You're trying to pin this on me. I didn't do anything. Get me a lawyer." The room goes silent. Detective stands, gathers the files, and nods to another officer. "Take him back. We're done here." As Jared is led away, he shouts over his shoulder. Find the truth. I didn't kill my boy. But investigators weren't done. In another room, they were questioning Jared's girlfriend. And what she told them would change everything. Inside the interrogation room, tension boiled over. The air was heavy. Jared sat slouched, rubbing his hands together, his leg bouncing under the table. Detective leans forward, voice low but sharp. Either you fed the baby or you didn't. Which is it? Jared's eyes dart away. I don't remember. I swear I thought he was asleep. The detective presses harder, sliding crime scene photos across the table. He wasn't asleep. His body was already stiff. You knew something was wrong. Jared shakes his head, almost pleading now. I didn't. I swear if I'd known, I would have called sooner. But the detectives weren't buying it. Their voices grew firmer, each question hammering the same point. The timeline didn't match and Jared's story kept changing. Then they played their next card. Cue dramatic sound effect. In another room, Jared's girlfriend Audrey was being questioned. At first she sat still, arms crossed, backing up Jared's story. He was fine, she insisted. We gave him a bottle. He was sleeping. But detectives didn't stop. They pushed her on the timeline, on who was in the house, on what she heard. Her breathing quickened. Her arms fell from her chest. Her voice cracked. And then she broke. According to court records, Audrey revealed a chilling detail that changed everything. She said she walked into the bedroom around 1 a.m. The baby was crying. Jared was standing over the bed. She told police she saw him wrap the baby in a blanket, then lift him into the air, by the neck, while still wrapped. Pause for effect. She said she watched him strangle his son. The room went silent. Detectives exchanged looks. This wasn't an accident. This wasn't neglect. This was murder. Police moved quickly after Audrey's confession. Jared White was arrested on the spot, his hands cuffed behind his back as cameras rolled. He now faces charges of child abuse resulting in death and abandonment or abuse of a child. He pleaded not guilty and was ordered held without bond. Tonight he sits inside the Curry County Detention Center awaiting trial. That trial is scheduled for February 2026. And prosecutors say the case against him is only growing stronger. Meanwhile, the second baby in the home was removed and placed in protective custody. Investigators are combing through every detail of that day. Phone records, social media posts, autopsy results, trying to piece together exactly what happened in the hours before the 911 call. But this case is far from over. Police say Jared's timeline still has major gaps. Audrey's confession, powerful but complicated, is now being picked apart by defense attorneys. And prosecutors hint they have more evidence they haven't made public yet. Whose story is the truth? Did Jared act alone or is someone else involved? Was this a moment of rage or something planned? And what about Audrey? Was she an innocent witness? Or does she know more than she's admitting? The answers are still buried inside hours of interrogation footage, text messages, and forensic evidence waiting to be revealed. Cut to montage. Interrogation room door closing, police cars racing at night, court building exterior under stormy sky. We'll break down the interrogation tapes, the conflicting witness statements, and the evidence that could make or break this case in part 2.